A woman fell in love with a werewolf and they had two little wolf cubs. However, one day their father disappeared, leaving Hannah to raise the children on her own. When the children fell ill, Hannah didn't know whether to take them to a veterinarian or a human doctor. She was at a loss and decided to teach herself both pediatric care and veterinary skills. However, her children were very mischievous. The moment Hannah went to wash clothes, her books would be chewed up by the kids. Hannah was truly pitiful. She had to take care of the children, so she couldn't continue her education. Every day she had to work to earn money, and as soon as she finished work she had to rush home to feed the kids. But the children Hannah was taking care of weren't ordinary children. They were the children of werewolves, and they were more mischievous than normal children. At home, they would chew on furniture, and Hannah had to replace the furniture every once in a while. When they went outside, they would exhibit wolf-like behavior. They once fought a dog over territory, and at night they would howl like wolves. The neighbors kept complaining to Hannah about this, and Hannah was already exhausted. Her mailbox was filled with complaints, and even the landlord suspected she was keeping pets. She refused to rent to Hannah anymore. Hannah looked at her two lively children and had no idea what to do. The biggest problem troubling her was whether to raise them like wolves or like humans. The children didn't understand her concerns, they just stared at her curiously. After thinking for a long time, Hannah decided to take them to the countryside to ensure they grew up safely. With the help of a real estate agent, they moved into a rundown house. The place was dirty and chaotic, and the agent couldn't believe Hannah would rent such a place. However, when Hannah saw the field next to the house, she smiled and immediately decided to rent it. For Hannah, this house was perfect. Not only was it spacious, but it also had no neighbors complaining, and there was land where she could grow vegetables. It was the ideal place to raise her children. Hannah was filled with hope for her new life and began cleaning the house, removing dust, fixing the broken floors, and repairing the leaking roof. Hannah was truly a patient person, and their lives slowly began to improve. Everything seemed to be getting better. However, Hannah noticed that the gap between her children was growing. Her daughter, Yuki, loved life in the countryside and had accepted her werewolf identity. She hunted like a little wolf, and her companions were birds and wild cats. Mice, snakes, and wild chickens were her prey, and the countryside became her playground. But her son, Aim, didn't adapt. He had been scratched by a cat and was now hiding in Hannah's arms. Aim cried and expressed his disdain for his werewolf identity. When they returned home, Hannah faced another problem. The tomatoes she had planted had withered again. Just as she was unsure of what to do, Kosaki Ajisan, a kind-hearted villager, came to offer help. He felt that no matter how Hannah planted, it wouldn't succeed. Hannah smiled awkwardly, but Kosaki Ajisan told her not to smile because if she did, she wouldn't be able to accomplish anything. Hannah didn't blame Kosaki Ajisan but decided to go back to her books and take notes. At that moment, a visitor came to the house, bringing Hannah some yam seeds. It was a gift from Kosaki Ajisan's daughter. The next day, Hannah returned to the field, dug the soil, and buried the yam seeds. Kosaki Ajisan personally came to guide her, and he dug up the seeds she had buried, asking her to turn the soil again. He pointed out where Hannah was lacking, teaching her how to plant correctly, how to create furrows and space them farther apart. Hannah listened carefully, and Kosaki Ajisan encouraged her to clear more land. However, Hannah thought only 3 people were living there and that they didn't need to plant that much. Kosaki Ajisan insisted she keep going, and though Hannah didn't understand, she followed his instructions. She worked until dusk, and Kosaki Ajisan had the seeds prepared for her. He told her to plant them with the cut side down after a week and not water them. Just leave them be. Soon, 2 more kind people came to help Hannah. They took her to the seed market to buy vegetable seeds and personally taught her how to plant them. Then, other villagers came to give Hannah various things. From their conversations, Hannah learned that survival in this village wasn't easy. Wild boars often damaged the crops, and drainage was poor. Winters brought heavy snow, and everyone needed to help each other. When harvest time came, Hannah harvested many potatoes from her land. She packed the potatoes into bags and shared them with the villagers. The neighbors were very grateful and gave Hannah various crops in return. They thought Hannah had some secret to drive away the wild boars, but in reality, it was Yuki's wolf form that scared them away. As Hannah's house filled with the villagers' return gifts, she finally understood why